When I was in 8th or 7th grade, I started to swim with the swim team that was at the school. And I remember the practices started in the summer, and we had to show up, and our parents would drop us off, and then we'd go inside and we'd talk with the coaches, and then we'd get changed and swim. But the problem here was we had to get changed and swim. And now I'm a pretty skinny person. I've always been rather skinny, and at the time I was extremely skinny. Like, I was probably too skinny. But I was very self-conscious about the way that people would look at me. They'd be like, oh, he's too skinny, or how's he even gonna float, or is he even gonna swim? And me just thinking about this just brings back many memories and thoughts of how I am now. Like, now I don't think about how skinny I am too often. It does come up, but it's not like it was back then. But what I'm trying to have the mindset of is not caring about what other people think about me too much. Like, some caring about what other people think of you is good, but the over obsession that I can sometimes have is not good. And so I've done some thinking about why do I care what other people think about me? And I think it just boils down to being accepted in the group. Like, everyone wants to be accepted in the group. People don't like being left out. I don't think I can think of one person that if was asked to do something and someone else was not asked, the person who was not asked would feel good about being left out. Maybe we think people don't like us if we don't get asked, but it just goes all the way back to caring about what people think of us. So is this helpful towards us that we do care? I would argue it's not helpful. I think that in the society that we live in today, if there are people who are just going to live their life how they live, and there are others who are going to judge them and criticize them for living that way, I think that those people who are criticizing need to take a look at themselves, and would they enjoy it if someone was criticizing them how they were living? And if we were to all do that, then who would be criticizing it? No one. We could all just be living how we thought that we should be living. But another part of this, I think, has to do with people being competitive. I know this doesn't sound like it connects, but when people are competitive, they want to be better than the other person or other group, right? And to be competitive, you have to be better than the other person, or not to be competitive, but to be better, you probably have to practice more, train more. And with that, it takes caring about what you're doing and knowing that people will see that either you put in effort or you didn't put in effort. So therefore, people will care about what you look like and how you are perceived. I don't know if that makes much sense on how it connects, but that's just what I think. Now, if we go back to the swimming example, what I eventually had to keep telling myself was, why do you care? These people are just going to either look at you and not care, or look at you and laugh. And if I were to go to any of the people that I was around now and ask them if they remembered what color my bathing suit was or whatever, none of them would remember. None of these people would even have cared enough back then to remember. And I just have to keep telling myself that people do not care enough about what you are perceived to remember in certain aspects. Now, I know there are other ones, like rather large life examples, but the smaller ones, if you're talking about how do I look, I don't think people will remember too much. Anyway, I know these thoughts are kind of jumbled up and a little bit messier than the other two ones that I've done so far, but maybe it'll help somebody. Alright, well, I'll see you next time.